record. Hey everybody. Alright, so I'm running into internet problems, so I'm making a video instead of a live session. Unfortunately, Xfinity is going to be coming after the class session. So, well, I say class session. It is not a class session. It's just basically a session for me to help you by reinforcing some of the material. It is not a lecture. It's not meant to be an actual class session. Attendance is completely optional. So if you choose not to attend, that's your choice. I will not be taking attendance at any of my Wednesday sessions. Fridays are how I can give you office hours. So I have open office hours. So I will be there on Friday between the set times. I believe I have it set for 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Don't quote me on that. Take a look at the landing page on the course. There's a link plus the times. So click there, and that's open office hours. So let's go ahead and dive into this. All right. So we're in topic 2. So operations strategy, creating customer value. Well, what is customer value? What is it to you? I mean, for me, it has different connotations for customer value. What I value is different than what you value, and what maybe your family values, and what my family values. And my 4-month-old son probably values. He probably doesn't value anything much except a clean diaper and, getting fed when he's hungry. So he has a different set of priorities, which, influences his values. But let's look at our actual values. What categories of values do we have? Let's see here. If I can bring my mouse over there. All right. Why is this not working? All right, let's see here. Okay, this is not working the way I wanted it. All right, let's see here. There we go. All right. So, you should see a screen that says, as a customer, what do you value? So we have our 5 main categories here. So our first category is cost. That's a big one. Being students, I imagine that you are on strict budgets. Maybe not. Maybe you are, doing well and you don't have a budget. But I'm going to say that's not usually the case. Everybody has their limits on what they're willing to spend on a product or service. So if you're looking for a new phone because you dropped yours into the sink and it's got wet and it's done, well, what are you going to do? Well, you can go buy a new one. Well, do you really want to spend $600, $1,000, or more or less on a new phone? I would imagine you do not. So you could try a insurance claim. You generally have to pay a deductible, $100, $200, whatever your plan has. But there's also another option. You maybe be able to renew your phone contract for, let's say, another 2 years, and they'll give you a phone. Well, that phone that they might give you might be the basic tier, but then you'll have to pay a certain dollar amount for the higher level tiers. Who knows? I just buy my own phone, so I'm not locked into a contract. That's what I do. And I've had this phone here for several years, and the screen's not broken. Luckily, I've dropped it like 4 times today. But iPhones, they're very sensitive. When we talk about quality, and I believe it's topic 6, 7, or 8, I'll get more into the iPhone and their screens. But, the cost depends on how do you want to look at cost. Are you looking at the total cost of ownership, or are you just looking at the landed cost, which is a cost to get it into your hands? But when we look at cost, we also have to consider quality. Yes, you can get that iPhone, and a lot of people consider that a high quality device. But is it really? You're paying a premium because it's an Apple phone, right? Well, what if you bought a HTC or LG or any of the other phones, yes, you might not be spending as much, but is the quality just as good? Who knows? It might not be part of that Apple ecosystem with a proprietary software that you can't really do much with in terms of customization, unlike Android. But is that quality for you? For me, I like the freedom of Android. So I'm going to kind of reference Apple and Android quite a bit. So Android, I can customize my phone probably more, though I will say more than an iPhone. Just how I like it. I don't like the Apple because once you get into Apple, you're kind of stuck, aren't you? I bet many of you have the iPhone, you have the watch, you have the MacBooks, you have the iPads. You're kind of sucked into their ecosystem. But that's more into the marketing and stuff. So when we talk about new product development, we'll get more into that. But what about the delivery of that product to you, product or service? Well, the value of that delivery. Well, the delivery is not just putting the physical product in your hand or providing that service to you. It's about how that information gets to you also. Are you watching a cheesy TV commercial that's not interesting, but it's funny because of how silly it is or how poor quality it is? You might remember that because of that poor quality commercial or that jingle that they have. Like I mean, I grew up in the Midwest, and so there's the Empire commercial. I can't sing, but that is still stuck in my head, and I haven't lived in the Midwest since 2001. Just how it is. It's still stuck in my head. I remember the phone number to that place because I've seen that commercial, and it just kind of stuck there. But how that information gets to you. And then also, it does also mean how that product is delivered to you. So when, let's say you're buying a car, are they actually delivering that car to your house, or do you have to pick it up from the lot, the car sales lot? I mean, I bet the higher up in car you get, let's say Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bentley, they will deliver that car to you, or they'll come and get you to come get the car. Now, if you're trying to buy a Ford or Mitsubishi, a Toyota, are they going to come and pick you up to sell you a car? No. They barely have a loaner vehicle anymore for when your car's in the shop. So, what about agility? How is the company dynamic in making changes to the company to meet the customer's demand with the customer values? For example, when the iPhone came out, well, people wanted a bigger screen, right? Because the iPhones were tiny. And so they went from the iPod to the iPhone. Well, now that iPhone has gotten bigger, but then we have the iPad, the standard iPad. But then people were like, well, that iPad is too big, so there's the iPad mini. Then people wanted it to be able to connect to the cellular network instead of just Wi-Fi. Now we have the iPad Air series. But then people were like, well, we want a bigger iPad. We want it to essentially be a computer without spending the thousands of dollars for a MacBook. Well, now we have the bigger iPad. I don't remember what that's called. So there's agility. I mean, how much effort do you think it took for Apple to scale up the standard iPad size to the larger iPad size? They probably just bought a bigger screen and put a bigger battery in it, right? The technology on the inside is essentially the same. So, but the company is able to make innovation happen like that. So when customers had the phone and they're like, this thing's too small, I wish I can do more with it. Well, Apple innovated by making the iPad because they listened to their customer and what their customer was valuing. And you can look at all sorts of different products. Like, you might have the, product version 1, and now you got product version 2. It just keeps going and going and going. Like, for example, a mouse. This is a little computer mouse. They got rid of the cord because people got sick and tired of the cord. That's innovation, right? Well, and like, because people didn't want. All right, let's get back there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I got a little controller to change my scenes here. But, that innovation is what's keeping those companies alive. Because if they don't innovate, they're not going to be what the customer values, what the customer wants. And they'll just go by the wayside. All right, so let's look at order winners and losers and qualifiers and the customer's need. So when a customer is coming to your company, so we just kind of moved on to a different topic here. So when a customer is looking for a product, or you are trying to order product from a supplier, well, you've identified the need that you have, or your customers identified a need that they have, and they come to you, or you're going to your supplier, and you're talking to them, you're negotiating. Your customer's negotiating with you. You're negotiating with your supplier. Well, does your customer want to buy from you? Are you going to offer a good price and service to that customer where they want to buy from you? So if they say, yes, you've qualified for me to look deeper into what you have to offer, well, that's you've just qualified. You've made it to that next stage. You haven't won the order yet, but you've made it to the next stage. If you didn't qualify, you're an order loser. You just didn't make it. No, they're not going to consider you further. Now, with you talking to your supplier, it's the same thing. You have to make yourself appealing to your supplier where they even want to talk to you. Have you ever called somewhere and just you never get a call back? Well, they don't either want your business or they don't see what you can bring to the table. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, I believe, on the next slide here. But if you can get your foot in the door and in talking, well, essentially you've qualified because they're interested. They want to learn more about you. And then you can move on to order winner. If you're talking to your supplier, you've won the ability to purchase some of their products. Now, if you're supplying a store like Walmart, your supplier might only have 10,000 units. Well, you're coming in there and you want to buy 15,000 of their 10,000. Yes, I know that's more than they can make, that they have. Well, as Walmart, do you think that they can win a majority of that 10,000 units? Who knows? What if Target's also competing, and Sam's Club and Costco and several other stores are competing for those 10,000 units? Walmart might qualify because they're Walmart. But who wins buying that supply? So it might turn out that Walmart only gets 2,500 units. Target gets 25 units or 2,500 units. Costco, let's say, gets 5,000 units, and Sam's Club gets none. Could go that way. So who won that order? Well, Sam's Club, in this case, is an order loser. So it's what we can do here. So we have to make it look like, or make ourselves look better to our potential supplier or to our customer. So let's see. Can you be an order winner? Of course you can. Your company can be an order winner when you're going and sourcing products, or you have customers coming to you asking you to bid or offer a proposal or a quote. Well, how do you do that? Well, you need to get in the game, right? So by getting in the game, you can say things like, at least you tried, because you're never going to win anything if you don't try. So if you have a customer come to you and you don't even bother to give them a quote, well, you had no chance to win their business. And they're going to remember that you did not give them a quote. They're unlikely to come back to you and ask for another quote. That could have been your future customer. That would have been your biggest account. But you didn't take the time to even give them a quote. Or if you're trying to talk to your supplier, if you never even talk to the supplier, well, then how do you even possibly get a piece of their supply, the product that they're selling or their service they're offering? You can't. So when you talk to them, you have to differentiate yourself. So when a customer comes to you and they want a quote from you, how do you make yourself different? Well, price is one aspect, but your price might be higher than somebody else. Well, why should they spend the extra money to come to you? Are you offering a warranty on what you're providing them? If you're a service, are you providing let's say you're a painting service. You paint, but you're also offering to come back out and do touch-ups, let's say a week later. Is that something that possibly make yourself stand out? Because that first company that provides a quote might say, yeah, we'll paint it, but that's it. We'll paint and leave. Well, what about touch-ups? Well, that could be a selling point if you're a painter. But if you're reaching out to a supplier, well, how do you differentiate yourself? Well, tell them about your mission. Tell them what your company's doing and how maybe their products are going to help enable you to reach your strategic goals. For example, if you're a hospital and you're reaching out to a medical supply supplier, let's say rubber gloves, masks, all that stuff. Well, if you're buying for a hospital and that hospital is going to use that material to provide healthcare to the homeless, well, that supplier might say, hey, you're going to do more because you're going to put some of this stuff towards a nonprofit. You're not going to be making money off this stuff. So they might say, hey, we'll give you a better price and we'll even sell you more. Just give us some credit when you do this work, say that we were your supplier. That little bit of goodwill might differentiate you from another hospital. But let's talk about disqualification. There's a lot of things that can disqualify you. Like I said the first time, if you don't get in the game, you're automatically disqualified because you didn't even play. And so another thing is, if someone comes to you with a quote and you don't want to bid it, you don't want to put a bid in for their business, talk to them and say, hey, we would love to provide a bid, but we just don't have time to produce the goods for you because we wouldn't be able to provide them until 6 months down the road. Well, they might say, oh, we understand, but so the next time we put this out for bid, we'll contact you. Well, you're being honest with them. Instead of just putting in a bid, let's say normally you would have charged $1,000. Well, don't put a bid in for $5,000 just to say you put a bid in, just to be so ridiculous that they're not going to pick you. Don't do that because they're going to disqualify you because you have a ridiculous price. Now, what about when you're talking to a supplier? Well, talk to your supplier and learn what kind of orders they want. Do they want to send out only a minimum order quantity? Well, what is that minimum order quantity? Or do they only ship using freight? And your order quantity is so small that it have to go UPS or FedEx. Well, you might have to get enough of an order to have it shipped by freight using less than truckload, LTL. It's, you want to learn more so you can avoid these disqualifications. All right. I hope that kind of covered this. Well, let's move on to the next thing here. Let's see. There we go. Customer satisfaction. Next topic here. So everybody here has been a customer, whether it was a customer of a restaurant, a library, a university, your prior education. Everybody here has been a customer. So what is your customers, not you, but what is your customers' expectation of your product or service? So if you're going in the hospitality and tourism field, that field is heavy on the expectation and the experience. People can go anywhere for a hotel. I've slept in the bottom end hotels, let's say Days Inn, Super 8. I've stayed in those hotels, and I've stayed in really nice hotels because the company was paying for it, not myself. For me, I just need a bed, a shower, and a toilet. I would prefer a sink so I don't have to brush my teeth out of a toilet. No, I'd use a shower if that came about. But those are my needs. So for me, Days Inn or let's say Marriott, either one works, or the Ritz-Carlton. Either one works. But, the experience. I went to a hotel once. I was doing a lot of traveling, and I got to the status level of Diamond in the Hilton Hotel Honors program. There's no higher status level in the Hilton loyalty program. I went to a conference, and so I checked in, and because I was a Diamond member, I was automatically upgraded to one of their best rooms. If you've been to a hotel recently, they usually have key cards, and they put this in a little key card pocket, and they write the room number on it so you know where you're going. They wrote down the number 2. I'm thinking, where's the rest of the numbers? The room number 2. Well, it turns out that was on the top floor, and I had the second room. It was amazing because the ceilings were like 20 feet tall. At the conference, there was going to be a concert, and if you guys have ever watched Forrest Gump, there's Lieutenant Dan in there. He was the one that lost his legs. Well, Lieutenant Dan's room, Gary Sinise, his room was right next to mine. He was in number 1. I was in number 2. I mean, that's one of those experiences that the hospitality and tourism industry can give. Not only did I get upgraded to the top floor, one of those rooms, I got to meet Gary Sinise, who was going to be the main person for our concert at that conference. Now, if I didn't have that honors program, I'd still have a room, and I still would have had a great experience, but that just took it above and beyond for me. So Gary Sinise was a cool guy. We saw each other in the hallway, said hi, sat and chat for a few minutes. No big deal. Anyway, but what can your customers expect from your product or service? Well, we have basically 4 categories here, right? So you can give your customer, let's start with negative. Start with negative, end on a positive here. We have dissatisfaction. Customer did not like your service. So with this, your customer is likely not to come back. However, dissatisfaction doesn't always mean that the customer will never come back. They may come back anyway and just be like, their expectation is just taken down a level. What about outrage and pain? Have you ever received just such poor customer service because of the incompetence of whoever was there, or they didn't care, or something happened that you just felt that outrage and disgust, and you just from the inside of your being just wanted to rip someone's head off? I would imagine all of you have. Some of you might even be medicated for that, so you're in your happy place all the time. But you understand where I'm coming from on that. I would say you've lost that customer, and more. They're going to tell every single person they know what horrible experience or service or product they've gotten from your company. What can you do? Yes, the manager can try to compensate them for, here's a free dinner on us, or, here's a free warranty, or whatever the case may be. But that person, you can give them $1 million and they're still angry. They're still outraged because they've made it personal to themselves that they received such poor service or poor product. Like right now, out of these 2, with my current internet service provider, I'm in dissatisfaction. The only reason I don't switch to somebody else is because they're the only ones out there. So I'm kind of stuck. But let's go back to the happy side here. Satisfaction. I'm sure you guys have gone somewhere and just been happy with everything. You thought, hey, this is great. You guys met my expectations. You met. That's it. Just met. So here's your expectations. The person or that service or product has met it. You're likely going to go back as a customer. You might tell some people about it, how they met your expectation. Or if someone asks you, you might say, I was happy with that service. But let's go one step further. Let's say you delighted that customer. So now they are your biggest advocate. They're going to tell all their friends even people they don't know, hey, they should go to this business and or buy this product or use this service. And the loyalty is established. But now you've just set their expectation level, which was here. Now you moved it up. So you got to be careful there too. It's great to delight your customers, but you have to manage their expectations. So this is understanding what the customer values and giving it to them. For example, I bought a car a number of years ago that I'm still driving, and I asked them, how about a full tank of gas? You think that would be a simple request. They told me no. A full tank of gas when I was buying a car. And I was getting the extended warranty and I was getting the gap insurance, which I will never do again. But they told me no. They wouldn't put $40 worth of gas into the car. They wanted to give me free oil changes instead of a tank of gas. But it's like, really? You won't put $40 worth of gas in this car so I can leave with a full tank of gas? Well, I was satisfied with the car, but that little bit just, that bothered me because they wouldn't put gas in the car. And now, this was actually a Ford dealership in North Carolina. So it's not like the little mom and pop car dealerships. Now, I wouldn't go as far to say that I was outraged by that, but I was dissatisfied with that aspect. And when I got that, we're going to do our survey phone call, which the actual sales manager called, I told them about that. And I told them, I was looking to drive off with a full tank of gas. I mean, the thing had a quarter tank left. Well, that would have made my entire trip there at least satisfactory. Delighted, yeah, I was getting a new car, but would I go as far as delight? Probably not, because it's I needed a car, I got a car. It is what it is. But when I told that customer, that service manager, not the service manager, the sales manager this, they said, they took the information down and, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, no tank of gas, no big deal. I can spend the $40. But 2 weeks later, I got a handwritten letter from the general manager, who happened to be the owner of that franchise location for Ford, apologizing that I did not get a free tank of gas and I got a $100 Visa gift card. And they said, have 2 tanks of gas on us. That right there moved me from dissatisfaction right there to the loyalty. I was delighted. I was not expecting a $100 gas card or Visa card. Did I spend it on gas? I have no idea. I probably did. But, something little like that could take your customer over the edge. Okay. So I know I went off on a tangent there, but you understand where I'm going with that, I hope. You should be able to think of maybe your own experiences and think where you landed on these 4 categories. Were you dissatisfied? Were you outraged? Or were you satisfied or even delighted with that service or product? All right, let's see here. So the next topic here is customer segmentation. Now, this is one of the tools. There's some math involved in this one and all that. You're going to have to read the text. I'm just going to kind of gloss over it. But one thing to realize is your customers, you have some that are more valuable than others. You're going to put more effort to keep some customers than you will others. And we do an ABC analysis here. So when we do this, our A customers, these are our strategic key accounts. These are like the big fish that we do not want to lose. So you can think of government contracts, big government contracts. You might think of big Fortune 500 companies are coming to you. So you're going to do everything you can to make sure they have an outstanding experience, that they're delighted every time they interact with your company. Because they're going to tell their friends. Because those supply buyers, those purchasers at that company, because we're talking supply chain here, are going to go to their industry association meetings. It might be APICS, might be Institute of Supply Management, they'll go to these meetings. They'll go to their church groups. They'll go wherever it is. They'll have dinner with some friends from another company, and they'll talk about your company. They'll talk about you as a supplier, because the other company might be looking for some products, and your customer might say, "Oh yeah, we use ABC company here, or ABC 123 Industry Provider, whatever the company name is." And so that is a referral. So now when that person goes back to their office, they're probably going to give you a call, all because you're delighting your strategic key accounts. But let's move on to, let's say, the next tier down. These are your B customers. These are your customers that aren't maybe strategic, but they're big enough to receive preferential service. They don't get the same level of service as an A customer, but they get pretty darn good customer service. So when they make a phone call, your company is going to do everything they can to solve that issue. Now, let's say that company calls and they're speaking with, an A customer, they might get the vice president of purchasing, let's say, or vice president of sales. They might have that guy's phone number. But our B customers might have a special team that of, let's say, management level who are going to deal with that issue. Well, these customers you can develop into becoming A customers. It just takes some time and effort. So finally, we have our C customers, our third tier. These are the remainder of your customers. They're, like, for example, me. I own a business, and I might be a C customer because I am not spending that much money. I'm not, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. I might be spending $1,000 to $2,000 at a time. So I'm going to be with everybody else. I get the standard customer service phone number. I don't get the personal email to somebody who can help me. I get the standard hours to be able to call, 9 to 5 if I have an issue. So, you want to do something for these customers, but you're not going to put a lot of effort into it because, they may be one-time customers. You never see them again. Who knows, right? So, but you're going to break down your customers, follow what the textbook says. And there's an example in there, I believe, that kind of walks you through how to do it. And this is how you'll break down your customers. So you can take your own customer list, let's say look at sales data and sales volume, and do it on your own list. So, all right. I hope you guys understand the importance of distinguishing your customer levels. All right, let's go on here. And that's all I got. So I hope that this video, actually helps you guys. I think, let's see here. I've been going 33 minutes. Now, if we were in class, this would be a little longer. But I'm glad I was able to give you guys something because I didn't want just to say, hey, I'm canceling the session and good luck. So I want you guys to feel like, we're here for you. All your professors are here for you, whether it's, through videos, which is not very interactive, but we're here for you. If you need to talk to us through Zoom, I think there's doing some Google Meet. There's other ones that other professors are doing. If you have any issues or you just need to chat for a little bit because you're stuck in your dorm room or whatever, reach out. Whichever professor you feel comfortable with, and just say, hey, I need a little bit of talking. And if, let's say, you're feeling to the point where we need to refer you on to other services, we'll help you with that. Not saying any of you do, but if you feel you need, there are services available for you guys. Well, I hope you guys learned something and that you guys are doing good. And, I've already posted topic 1 grades. And just to kind of reiterate that announcement I sent out before my internet kind of just, hated me, is if your score is 0, there's 2 possible reasons it could be 0. 1, you just didn't do the work. I don't think I need to really explain that much more. My policy on late work is it's a 0. The other one is your student ID number is not in eCampus. If your student ID is not in eCampus, I cannot bring your grade into, or I'm sorry, not eCampus, My Educator. If your grade is not in My Educator, I can't bring it into eCampus. So I need you guys to fix that. The instructions to do that are in a previous announcement, so definitely go to the announcements and check that out. I believe I provided a link to the My Educator technical support page that shows you how to do that. And there's no need to send me an email. When it comes to topic 2, when I import grades to topic 2, I'm going to re-import topic 1. So hopefully your 0 turns into, let's say, a 25. So if you did it late, do not freak out. That topic 1 is roughly 1.6% of your grade, roughly. So you still can get an A. I really sincerely hope all of you get an A, but you're going to have to work for it. You got to put in the time and effort. So students who have gone on from this class, they know that they put in the effort and they got the grade they deserve because that's the level of effort they put into the course. I hope everybody passes this course. It's already rough enough, having online classes, but let's not add to it. I don't want to add to it by having to say, that the letter grade that makes you repeat this course. So with that being said, I'm going to say, you guys have a great day, and shoot me an email if you guys have any questions, and I'm available for you guys. Just reach out, and I'll see you guys later. All right, take it easy.